what sort of energy do you feel you're giving off when you feel like you're a legend? Yeah, you're more empowered because you've said yes. You've said yes to life. What's up, legend? Clint X Morgan here, and welcome to another episode of the Rich Mystic Man podcast. And I just wanted to express my appreciation for the comments, the shares, people reaching out to me, telling me how they're moved and inspired by some of the episodes of the Rich Mystic Man. And I just wanted to ask for your help. And so I have chosen to do this podcast as a way and a means of impacting people and getting the message out there and really, inspiring people that they can live an authentic and inspired, a rich and abundant and an experiential life a life that they're proud of, right? And so I just want to ask your humble help. So if you're getting value from this podcast, I ask that you just hit that little share button and you share this with someone who you feel would receive value from it. Just one person. Of course, I don't want to limit you if you want to do more than that, but just one person. Go, hey, bro, I reckon you'd get a lot from this. Share it with them. If you got some value from this episode, share it with your partner or share it with a friend or share it with your dad or share it with someone. Share it with your son. Who knows? Someone that you feel would get some value from this podcast. And if you're getting a good experience and you're enjoying it, go leave a review. Subscribe, hit the review button. As long as it's 5 stars, no pressure. Whatever you're getting value from it, just hit that review button and I'd extremely appreciate it. And I really feel it's through you that this podcast is going to get out there, and I think that's how I've grown my brand. It's how I've grown my business. Has really been through word of mouth, and it's just one person talks to another person who talks to another person. So I just wanted to ask for your help and your assistance in this, and whatever part you can play in that, I'd be extremely grateful for. So thank you. And today, I really want to talk about saying yes to life and getting excited by life. And I want to share a couple of little life hacks that will see you having way more fulfillment, way more excitement, way more fun. And if you're building a personal brand, this is how you stand out in your content. I had someone on a call the other day. I was doing a training for one of the coaching containers that I run within our online business space. And someone said, how do I stand out with my content? And I said, you know what? I said, you stand out by living a fucking good life. And through expressing that through content only happens by you actually living a good life. And now this is going to be a short podcast. It's going to be packed full of value, and it's going to really pack a punch. And if you apply this and you do this one little thing, this will see you showing up and living a freaking epic life. And I want to reference someone that I learned this powerful analogy through Andy Frisella. And he's got this program called 75 Hard. I did that program. Well, actually, I did 67 days hard. I forgot to do the photo. Anyway, I won't go into that right here. That's not what this conversation is about. But there's what he talks about in his book, in 75 Hard, he talks about the boss voice and the bitch voice, right? And so the boss voice it's the voice inside your head. It's the voice that calls you forward. It challenges you. It invites you to play a bigger game. It's supportive. It tells you you've got this, tells you that you can do something, and it also invites you to do things that are really outside your comfort zone, that really confront you, that really, call you forward. And then he talks about the bitch voice. And the bitch voice is basically the voice that tries to talk you out of everything, tells you not to do something, tells you to stay in bed, invites you to stay in your comfort zone. Don't do that. It's too hard. Don't do that. People will laugh at you. Don't do that. You don't know what's going to happen. Fear, 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 fear. That's the bitch voice, right? So the boss voice is calling you forward. It's inviting you to play a bigger game. And the bitch voice is basically doing the opposite. And we both have these voices in our head. I do. I have this voice that's nudging me, that's challenging me, that's calling me forward, right? And then I also have this voice that just tells me that I'm an idiot, that I'm a loser, that I can't do something, that I'm never going to make it, that I should just stay in bed, that I should just just have the day off, relax. And not that there's anything wrong with relaxing or having the day off, but the point of the story is that there's this voice that's keeping me playing small. And so a simple life hack and something that will see you really stepping into some really powerful places. And when you're stepping into powerful places and you're living an epic life, you have endless amounts of material that you can create content from. And so as soon as we start to recognize this boss voice and we start to listen to it and we start to say yes from that space and start accepting the challenges that it sets for us, it starts to open doorways. And an epic life, like some people's like, I say to people when they're creating their content, I was like, just live an epic life. And I think people assume, or people often associate that with like, okay, cool. Well, all right, I've got to be traveling. I've got to, buy a new car. I've got to wear nice clothes. I've got to be cool, or I've got to, do something outside of the box, or, fly first class, or, buy a Ferrari or whatever. It's like, that's not the case. Right? It could include those things, and maybe that's a part of it. But it's just by doing the little things. It's by doing those little things that invite you outside of your comfort zone. Because when you get challenged outside of your comfort zone, and it's that boss voice that's calling you forward to play a bigger game, when you say yes to those invitations and say yes to those challenges, it starts to create a different frequency within you. You start to emit a different frequency. And I'll share an example. So when I was doing this 75 hard thing, part of this program is you do 2 45-minute workouts every day. One of them has to be outdoors. And so, I don't know, it was day, who knows, it was in the 40s, right? I'd been training twice a day for 40 days straight. And you know what? I was tired. And so I was like, okay, because there's no rules to what the training is, right? It's just like 45 minutes of exercise. One of them has to be outdoors. So I was like, okay, cool. It was the second workout of the day. It was nighttime. I was like, I'm just going to go for a walk. I was living in Gymea Bay at the time in Sydney. I was down there for a few months whilst my brother was undergoing some treatment for his cancer. And so I was down there to be close to him. And so I was in Gymea and it was nighttime. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to go for a walk. Starts walking. Next minute, the boss voice. And so through this thing is like you start to tune into the boss voice and the bitch voice. And so the boss voice says, start jogging. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll start jogging. Anyway, so I start jogging. We're going past an oval. Boss voice says, do some sprints. And I'm like, are you serious? All right, okay, we'll do some sprints. So I start doing some sprints. I did a few sprints. Next minute, the boss voice says, go for a run in the bush. And I'm like, are you serious? Because the bitch voice is like, dude, have the day off. The boss voice is like, go for a run in the bush. And I'm like practicing listening to this boss voice. All right, anyway, so I say yes, go down. I'm starting running through the bush. It's nighttime, right? I'm running through the bush. It's sort of, there's a bit of moonlight out. So I'm running and I'm going running through the bush. And I'm like, the heart's beating, I'm feeling activated. So I go for this run through the bush. In that time, it starts like there's this storm brewing. It might have started raining. Actually, I don't think it started raining, but there was this storm brewing. I'm like, holy shit, it's going to start raining. Like, this is hectic. This is getting intense. Anyway, so I run back home, and by this time, I'm like, I've got the pace on. I'm feeling good. Like, I'm like warrior mode. And anyway, so I get back home. I get in the door. How do you think I felt? I felt epic. I went from like, couldn't be bothered training. I'll just go for a little walk, to then the boss voice calling me forward. And next minute, I'm running through the bush at night. And I get home and I'm like, I'm a fucking legend. I'm a legend. And so what sort of energy do you feel you're giving off when you feel like you're a legend? Yeah, you're more empowered because you've said yes. You've said yes to life. And that's just one example. That's just That's just a small example. And this is what I mean. It doesn't have to be like travel the world or buy a house or buy a Ferrari. It's just these little micro things that you do on the daily, on the hourly, that contribute to an epic life. It's by saying yes to the challenges. And some of the most amazing things, if you listen to some of the episodes of my podcast that I share, some of the most amazing things that have happened have led and come off the back of me listening to that boss voice and saying yes to it. And then, one thing leads to another. Someone's, for example, it's like, I'll use another example, which I may have shared this in another podcast, but bear with me. So I was at an event and there was a speaker there that got up and she performed a rap, right? Her name's Alex, and she came up and performed the rap. And after it, I was like, I need to. I had this. I had a written word piece. I wasn't doing music at that time. I had a written word piece. I was like, ask Gabby. She's the one that's hosting it to do this rap piece. And I was like, nervous because it was a leadership event. There's all these leaders in the room, and I was like, but I have to. I can't not listen to this voice. Anyway, so I went up and asked her, and she's like, oh yeah, God, yes, that'd be awesome. Like, yeah, do it, go for it. Anyway, so the next day I got up, did this written word piece. It was called Rebel. And did it, received well. It was confronting for me, but it felt good. It was that same sort of feeling after I was running through the bush. I was like, yeah, I'm doing it. And then we went to lunch afterwards with Alex, and she was there. And she's like, dude, that was awesome, that piece. She goes, that was really that was amazing. She goes, listen, I'm doing this event next year. It's called Love Wins, and it's for upcoming artists and people that are performing. And I'm going to be performing there. It's going to be my first rap concert. Would love for you to, have the stage and maybe do a couple of tracks. And I was like, hell yeah, yes, I'm in. Anyway, so we shook on it. We're like, yeah, hell yeah, this is epic. Anyway, she walked away, and I was like, holy shit, what did I just say yes to? I was like, I don't even have any songs, right? But then I reached out to her afterwards. I said, hey, listen, can you introduce me to your producer, right? Anyway, so that was Johnny Sonic. And so she introduced me to him. He said, yeah, man, do you want to do a couple of tracks? And there was a price tag on that, but I just kept saying yes. I kept just leaning in. I just kept doing that next thing. What was here? What's this voice that's calling me forward? And I could have quite easily not said yes to the speaking thing and stayed in my comfort zone. She asked me to perform at this event. I could have quite easily said, oh, no, I'm not ready. Let me get some tracks together. And, when I had the chat with Johnny and he was saying, listen, this is what it looks like. You've got to come down to Melbourne. You got to pay this money. I could have quite easily say, oh, listen, I'll find a cheaper way, or I'll figure it out by myself. I was like, it was a yes. My body was saying yes. The boss voice was calling me forward. And so I said yes, which now, we're just like, Johnny's living up on the Gold Coast. He's 30 minutes away. We're in the studio, twice a week. We're connected on the phone every day. We're writing a freaking album. We're 7 tracks deep in creating an album, right? And my music is exponentially growing, and my skill sets, because of these little decisions, because of these little things that I lent into, and I had the courage and the balls to back myself and just keep saying yes. And so are you saying yes to life, or are you saying no to life? One creates more life force. It creates more magnetism. It attracts people. It's hot. It's saucy. Women love it. They're turned on by it. And the other one, it's a vibe killer. It lowers your frequency. It makes us feel down about ourselves. And I'd say it would not be as magnetic. It's not attracting people in. So if you're building a personal brand, or you're building a business, or you're just living a life, we want to have influence. And we want to have people around us, and we want to draw opportunities to us, and we want to be magnetic. And magnetism happens through saying yes to life. So if we can just show up and say yes to life, albeit uncomfortable, something challenging, something that's stretching us, it's not going to be, the super easy path, because, if I look at me writing an album, it's like I had to go through an initiation. I had to do stuff that was uncomfortable. I had to like break my fucking brain. A diamond is made under pressure. And it's like, there's all these sayings and things that, you might think they're in personal development. They sound a bit cliche, but they're the fucking truth. It's like diamonds are made under pressure. We're made under pressure. And so it's like that pressure's good. And it's like if it's that internal driver and that boss voice that's saying, do this, and it's calling you. It's this whisper, it's this nudge, and sometimes a fucking push in the back. It's not even a nudge. It's not even a whisper. It's like a fucking, it's someone there with a horn going, Listen, bruh. Are you going to fucking act on this thing or what? And so it's just by doing these little things. And it's just little micro things. Another example that I shared the other day in this training, and this was when I was super broke, right? Didn't have much money. I at the time, I had about $500 in my bank. That was it, right? I wasn't sure where the next money was coming. But at the time, I was like playing with abundance. And I remember reading it was like Esther Hicks or, some money magnetism, or it's like The Secret of Money or something like that. And it was like, if you want something, it's like you give it away. And I was like, okay, all right, well, I want money. I really want money. I really want money because I don't have much and I'm willing to try anything. And so I got to give it away. So I want money. It sounds counterintuitive. It's like, I want money, but I got to give it away. All right, okay, I'll give it a crack. So I went to the ATM and I was like, I drew out $350 of that $500, right? So $350, and I was with she was my girlfriend at the time. She's now my wife, Christy. And we took that money and I said, babe, just trust me. And she's like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm going to give this money away. So I took $50 notes and I found people walking on the street and I was just giving them $50. I was just going up to I think there was a homeless person. There was other just sort of random people on the streets. And I just individually gave out this $350. How do you think I felt afterwards? I felt amazing. I felt good. I was like, you know what? That felt good. And what did you think it did? It raised my frequency. I was now vibing at a different state. And I felt abundant in that moment. Although I had $350 less than what I had when I started, I only had $150 left now. I'm not sure exactly what happened after that, but I know that it would have created more abundance. And if I look at my life now, I live in abundance. We're financially free. And so I'm like, it happened through these little decisions that I made. And so it's like success doesn't just happen. It's not just one big event. It's a series of little events that happens along the way. And so on that same day, we were driving back because we're up at seeing Christy's parents up north, and we were driving back. It was somewhere around, I think it was Bundaberg or somewhere, one of these little beachy towns near Bundaberg. And we're driving back, sort of middle of nowhere. It starts raining, and I just pull the car over, and I put the music on, and we just got out and we started dancing in the rain, right? And it may seem a little bit crazy and bizarre. I was like, Clint, bro, I just want to make fucking money. How do you make money? Just tell me how you make money. How do I be rich? How do I be mystic? Just give it to me straight. This is it. This is how you do it. It's just saying yes to life. It's saying yes to those little nudges. And it's being a little bit fucking crazy. It's the crazy ones that make it in the planet. Have you ever heard an interview with someone that's super successful? Normally they're pretty out there. They're a bit bizarre. They're a bit weird. Be the fucking weird guy. I know you're all weird. Everyone has their weird edge. And it's the little things. So for me, what I started really doing was, so I started listening to that voice. And so what I found is that I had these like inspirations that would come. And I also began to recognize this, that like I'd be at an event or a party or a gathering or a group of people, or I'd be speaking on the stage even. I started noticing these little times where, now it's doing a podcast or an interview. And I'd get this little inspiration of something to say. And maybe it's something witty or something funny or something that, could contribute to the conversation. But the past me would hold myself back. I wouldn't say that because I don't know, like maybe it's inappropriate, maybe it's not funny, maybe it's not the right time, maybe it might offend someone, maybe that person's speaking. I don't want to spoil the space, and so I'd hold myself back. But what I started doing as I started like stretching and leaning into this, and was I just started saying it, and so if it came to me, I said it, and I noticed that it started to be received well. And people started saying, "Is like, oh, dude, you're really funny. You're really witty. You're really clever. You're really quick." And it's like, well, I'm just trusting what's coming through. And I don't always say the shit because there is times where it's inappropriate. And so I do have that awareness of when I'm like, okay, cool. If I said this now, I'd be cutting off that speaker's flow. I'm not going to say this. It's not the appropriate time to say, like, I'm at the movies. I'm at the movies, right? People are being quiet. I'm in the library, right? So there's a time and a place. So it's like having a social awareness around when something is appropriate. But I started leaning into this. So I started like contributing to conversations. I started challenging people. I started saying things that were like outside my comfort zone. I started, saying yes and putting my hand up at events and things like that. And so it's just listening to this guidance. And so your life force is trying to be expressed. It's trying to express through you. And there's this innate intelligence within you. It's your heart, it's your expression, it's your life. And it's trying to breathe through you, and it's giving you nudges, and it's giving you whispers, and it's giving you codes, and it's giving you pathways, and it's giving you ideas, and it's guiding you on the way. All you have to do is say yes. And if we just begin to say yes, it opens up a portal, it opens up a doorway, it opens up a pathway. And the more we begin to say yes to it, it's like you're now given bigger and greater opportunities. And if you look at it in the way of like, let's say, and I don't know if this is true or not, but this is the way that I feel it does actually work. And I think it makes sense, is like what I started to notice is as I said yes to the smaller things, I started to get given greater things to say yes to. And if I look at it as like, let's say you're in a job and your boss comes to you and is like, "Hey bro, can you do this job for me?" And you're like, no, I can't. They're like, "Okay, I'm paying you, but are you not going to do this?" All right, sweet. Do you think they're going to give you another job, or do you think they're going to fire you? Right? They're probably going to fire you. So, so it's like if you're given these little tasks and you keep saying no to them, you're not going to be given more, right? So it's like the universe, right, is giving you these little challenges. Your life has given you these little tasks. And if you keep saying no, 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 it's not going to give you more. Maybe it might punch you in the face. I don't know. But once we start saying yes to the little things, it just opens up, and it's just little things. That's it. Life is it's day to day. It's moment to moment. It's just small, minute, little actions taken consistently over time that contribute to lay foundations, lay bricks, which then build a wall, which then build a city, which then build a fucking empire, which then build an amazing life. Right, so it's compounded. It's just these little action steps that are taken every day. And I may have shared this on a past podcast. I'll share this on a podcast again. I'm going to keep beating this drum until we have an army of men around the world that are living this way. And that's it. That's it. Just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes. And show up and take action on those little things. Be courageous. Lead your life. Be the example. Say yes. And start doing the courageous things that voice inside your head is calling you forward to, and see what unfolds, and see the magic, and report back. I'd love to hear your feedback. Jump onto YouTube, go onto this episode, drop a thing in the comments, send me an email, go onto my website, clintxmorgan.com, send me an email, let me know how it's going. Would love to hear your feedback. Jump onto my socials. Follow me at Clint X Morgan. Jump onto Instagram, inbox me. Would love to hear how you've started to apply this in your life. Prove me fucking wrong. Prove me wrong. Try it, and if magic doesn't happen, then I'll give you your money back. You got to give me your money first before I give it back. So just try it. Try it and continually try it on. Do it over again. And, maybe there's some things you say no to. I'm not like Superman where I say yes to everything. I'm some like courageous lion where nothing fears me. So many things fear me, and there's so many things that I probably still say no to. So it's like a gradual thing, but I'm stepping into it, and I have the awareness, and I know, and I just little thing, day by day, I'm getting a little bit better, and I keep leaning in. All right, I'm Clint X Morgan. Look forward to connecting again on the next episode.
Sitting here watching the clock, I'm struggling, thinking of the bullshit that I've been juggling. Is there more to life than this? I'm thinking twice about the price I'm paying in this 9 to 5 life. The sweatshop on the